very beautiful good morning, dear free souls. Today I wish to speak about the spirit of abundance and the smaller spirit of money that is a direct reflection of it here in our shared physical reality. So a lot of us have the feeling and the experience of luck in the means of the old dying system. And while this feels horrible by times, right? We would need the attention of our brethren who are specialized in certain techniques to teach us how we can overcome our own blockages. And then we don't have the worldly energy to attend them. And we know, in the meanwhile, hopefully, that all service provided is a matter of energy exchange. I always observe that people say, oh, that's not the case. We are called to divine service as saviors, as saints, to help our brethren without charging anything for that. And that is true to a certain extent, of course. If someone would attend here and would be totally destroyed, and I receive the guidance of spirit that my brethren need the help and they ask for it, they will receive it through me. Of course. That is always given, and that was always how it worked. Still, when we are the entrusted ones for change and to bring up the new now, we need to embody the abundance entirely, and that also includes all the tools that we hold to bring it into this density, right? So money is one of this because it is certainly an agreement of how we exchange energy when we have a good that cannot be moved, but we are ready to move ourselves, so we can change it into this energy which is neutral and doesn't have a face. It's just energy. So we can go to places, to other places, and rebuild ourselves over there. So this is a very neutral energy, and everyone who has issues with that would have to need to have some more introspection, agreeing or seeing the own agreement to free will as of how the things are organized in this plane of co-creation. That is the physical dimension. Why do I speak about that today? Because, we have to overcome the savior complex, the saint acting out in divine will. This is a fairy tale that the ones who are like that are not allowed to own anything. Of course, it is easier if we own basically nothing to move ourselves, but also us need a base of comfort, so to say, where we can recharge our batteries. So that we have abundance in a natural way, and I wish to remind the many of you, when you look inside and you see all that is unfolding right now, and you can feel it, and you can do the inner alchemy out of your own strength and align yourself with Mother Nature, that you already have this abundance. You already hold this abundance, and you are already of the meek, because this is a qualification to remain in the new earth, so that you can create as a creator being. So this is the abundance already. And now we have this expression of money on the other hand, which is the direct exchange that we hold to co-create with our brethren and support them if we wish, or entitle them as an investor in the new energy, of course, and so on. So, why is there the discrepancy in between being abundant or being abundance itself on the one hand and receiving it in the world? This is the question, the very honest question all of us have to ask ourselves. And this is still the same for me. And I'm reaching out with this video to see the reflections from the field and your impressions, your wisdom that you receive on topic. From my understanding, or from my knowing, I was someone back in the day who developed this very strong ego through all the neglection I received. And I grew up in a golden cage, so money was never the issue as long as I was a child and a teenager. My parents would provide for everything. And although I learned how to make my own money and how to stand myself, I was still neglected a lot. So the story comes into the little mind that we wish to have more money to earn the respect by other people. So power, Power is a direct derivative, or money is a direct derivative of power. And that's what we can feel in the world, of course. So a lot of misleading belief that I would just appeal to women, for example, or to other brethren, when I would be able to afford going onto very expensive travels with them or impressing the girls to buy their attention, basically. When I'm really honest, that was my thought, and that was part of the ego that I was embodying for a long time. Let's say until 10 years ago, 12 years ago. This was the driving force behind my motivation, why I would need money as a bridge to get where I would like to go. Yeah, but now I know from today's point of view that we can create all of that from within. And money is not a bridge to get there, but the consequence when we have achieved that comes into our life automatically. But for that, we would need to cure our point of view that money is evil, that just powerful and nasty people, pedophiles, have money, that money is always used to be bad in the world. Yes, we know that. This is a fact. But we are the creators to change it, and therefore we need to claim the responsibility. And so on. Money can do, as a worldly energy, the best when it is in the right hands. And that's why I address every one of you to make peace with that and claim your power back. When we are very powerful from our integration, and this is the third path of looking at things right now in this video I wish to open, people are really afraid of us. This is an experience when I speak the truth strongly and shameless and just as it is, without painting it beautiful, without creating a fairy tale of acceptance so people can sit with it when they consume my content. I can feel the triggers passed on and the resistance that it causes. It's the entry door to their healing. And I remain with that. I'm not here to please anyone. I'm here to be of help with a very primal frequency of the ray from origin. So everything that is still distorted, when we have a field of comfort, when we hold a space of love, can readjust to this primal coding, which is knowing about how everything is, and which fades out the worldly storytelling a little bit. But this is still what we all agreed to. And this curse that we are in a worker's mindset needs to be brought out of our bodies entirely, out of the nervous system, out of the body. I watched a very, very good comment from Ix'Vhaun yesterday, and I will bring it into the description of this video as well. Please watch it. That inspired me to make this video for myself. And what I could see is that money is a being itself. It has a spirit. So when we wish to cure our relationship with money, we need to do the shamanic alchemy with the spirit and cast forgiveness for all the times in our own lives where we wanted to have this bridge to just bring our power forward from the ego, to show off, to make things happen in a way that would be really beneficial to us and not for the sake of the community. This is what is needed now. In this regard, we will need to adopt the mechanisms of the elites, not in a very strict manner, not with the rites that are known in the meanwhile of initiation that are brutal, because no one needs that who is sane. We will just go with our love, and from there everything develops. This is the only difference. But the network itself, in a world that becomes more and more governed by AI, social media, and the visibility, so every one of us can see each other in this net. The next one of the integration we hold is at least 50 kilometers away. So this is how the thing is, you know. It's not that we are all neighbors living in the same community right now. So for that we would need some energy to move ourselves from A to B. And to be entitled to provide just because it's there, it is given, and the energy is overflowing, we would need to clear that for ourselves as well. And then we can provide, as stated in the scripture, as a sacred service, but not on the cost of your own health any longer, not on the cost of your own disappearance in this world. When everyone is taking, nobody is able to give back. So this is what we need to clarify in the beginning, so everyone starts to do their own inner work to a certain extent, to dive in with the spirit into the density, descend, or actively masculine way, or attract the light of spirit within magnetically for the family, to tidy up, to gain clarity, to make peace also with the spirit, detaching from all the storytelling that it is just an evil thing that holds us prisoner over here. So imagine that you have healed a lot and you have back your divine alignment, and you can attract the people who really serve the process, and you would like to have them in the team. So you need to go at least once to get to know them in person, or invite them over. For that, you need it once again. Or you just walk. It's always possible when we don't have this constant of time any longer, because we already dropped out of the system, that we can spend our time efficiently or inefficiently better in the societal way to just go where we want to go. And it doesn't matter how long it takes. Therefore, we don't need any money, of course. But when we wish to co-create the Isles of Light, the courses and retreats that are not premium based with all this, oh, we need to do it like that, but authentic and justified also in the means of energy exchange, because giving away at the moment is not an option. We will find it, you know. So making peace with this energy on the one hand, clearing off this being that is money, the spirit, what is there to be alchemized, that we know from our inner world, from the ancestral healing, from the ancestral clearing, to bring this energy neutral, back to life neutral, just as an energy that does not have form and that does not have a mind what it wants to create, just in our hands, so we can co-create this network derived from the elites, not to oppress the people and play out the control any longer, but in the long run to empower everyone becoming part of this network with, for example, investments that are very holistic, where the ones who are empowered just have a bond of honor to give back, and they will do because they see how everything grows, with very, very small interest that makes sure that over 10, 15, 20 years of alliance, what was invested once comes back to the foundation, so it can open new tabs and do more empowerment in the world by, for example, buying back forests, reforestation, becoming independent there with off-grid technique like solar panels, like plumbing that we will need to pull our own water from nature in a way that is holistic, and so on. And the materials need to build these places and to buy the first package of seeds and crops that we can plant to create agriculture that is holistic and that is permanent. This is all what we would need, and this is not for free in this world. And this is the reality we need to face. And when we face this reality, and when we've done our inner overcoming of our own blockages, seeing money for what it is, a neutral being, there to be it lived, to create something in the world, we can truly adapt and make our inner peace. The forgiveness, the ho'oponopono, with the ones who are in charge now, is a very, very important step to do. Seeing them in compassion for their role they play, which is horrible from the most perspective of the most of you who listen to my entry now. But it is a divine service somehow as well, when we consider that just through the pressure created, we could wake up and find it within, because without was too horrible to look at. What we always tried to prevent and omit on our path. So they created the pressure, and we thank them for that in a horrible way. So we chose the deep dive within to become a diamond instead of going on in the external. And that's why the slave mindset needs to go out of our system now. And this is a harsh process of inner alchemy when we were programmed alike from the Western societies from childhood days on, where our wings were cut off, where would be said, hey, come on, don't be a dreamer like you are, focus, you need to receive good education to contribute your part in solidarity to society. This is the storytelling a lot of us have experienced along their lives, which has to be unlearned entirely. So we return to this inner child energy within. That is actually the one and only that plays along in an innocent and aligned way with money when we give it outward once again, this energy. And this is actually an energy every spirit, no matter if we deem it negative or positive, truly loves this energy of the divine child. And I know that many of you would say there are so much different entities there who just want to feed from that and just want to nurture themselves from that, but it's not possible any longer in the moment that we restored this divine child energy within, and it lives right here, right in our Atman, in our higher heart. And we are the guardian with our experience. Left hand and right hand together is wholeness. So when there's something coming in towards this divine child energy of innocence and beauty, touch left hand. And then we block this, right? We can have a look within, but we don't allow it to take energy. We put this energy that we created or we protected with the left hand back into service with the right hand. That's how we fold our hands for prayer. That's wholeness. And that's why it is important to see the other consciousness of our oppressors, of our enemies, so to say, and of Satan within, because it is our ego in an unhealed form that is constantly jabbed into aggression, jabbed into reaction, because that's how we lose, how we provide our lose. And this is Satan within. I don't like all of this drawn in the external any longer. Of course, the egregores are there in the meanwhile, how groupthink works and how groups of people are organized. This is crystal clear. I don't want to negate that, but the underlying root is found in yourselves. That's where we need to go now, to unravel all of this and let go of everything, of this slave thinking, of this need for solidarity no matter what. After all, we are all co-creating. We are all in solidarity with each other, even the ones who create the stuff that is not good in the world, because they force us to go into action to create for ourselves, become creators, step up into our power. This is a very alchemistic point of view, and therefore, I, for myself, I am in gratitude in the meanwhile for all of that, what we observe, because I think without this support, I would not have spoken out of comfort, out of going with the storytelling, accepting it as my reality along the path. Because in this old bird energy, the divine child energy obviously caused a lot of pain. And I know that you know that as well. And that created our ego. And the ego, but then again, our inner Satan, is just a protection layer. So we adjust to what we find, so we can continue to live on and not be eaten alive, so to say, constantly. Take all of that into your inner word now and revise it. Revise my words towards the spirit of money that is the prana of the physical. When we ingest a lot of prana through our breath work, we hold a lot of energy. It's the same with a very good alimentation from fresh veggies, from white herbs, and from foods that don't create a lot of tamadic energy, which is a yogic term of sloth. So when we eat sattvic foods and we do our breathwork, we hold a lot of energy, so we can give a lot of energy. And now we take this constant of the third dimension into play as well. We clean it from our own misbelief that was caused through pain. We orientate, we see these, we don't like what they do at the moment, of course not, but we see them for how they manage this energy, and then we say, okay, our alignment is pure, our alignment is good to go. From ego, I don't want to do anything. I just let through my intuition, arising my intuition into the heart, bringing it into merge with spirit, with the future timeline of my existence, while the intuition is an experienced timeline of spirit that is of the past form that became manifested in the DNA of our ancestors and within the cells, a stored memory. So we bring this together in our flame, in the Atman, in the divine point of our existence, in the 0 point. There the wisdom arises, and love just continues to exist. The Dharma and the love, from the karma and from all the pain of the trauma of everything we hold within our body. And then we create this into something that, first of all, doesn't cause fear any longer because of our power that we hold. So we bring our power to this entity of money. And thereby we reconfigure love in a divine way into numbers that can be used here in the matrix to play out the power that is known to the collective as well. That is nothing that would fear. No one fears a benevolent philanthropist who is a rich person and who obviously does good. They hold the power, I promise you. They hold the same power in shamanic alchemy and from receptivity to spirit. But they don't show it in this way any longer. Like many of us try it. This is self-criticism. I tried that as well because I wished a long time for my brethren to see the necessity of doing the inner work, of waking up truly, and not clinging to the stories of scripture and of prophecy to entertain themselves just with a spiritual ego, which is even worse than the word more. But to take this within once again and completely destroy all the stories and just have the neutral and raw energy at hand to create your story based on all your experience, all of your ancestors, and nobody is exempt from it. It doesn't matter if you are from the High Council of Lyra or Andromeda. Now, when you have a body, you will have your ancestors. And you most likely have healing capabilities that are powerful. So you came into these complicated settings of your own ancestry to tidy up there and restore the peace, because you can. Because your experience allows for that to happen. Your soul's experience. Which is probably, in this regard, way more experience than of an average brethren next door. Many people call NPCs now. But this is not correct. Yes, they are acting like NPCs, but you have to see how money is used now. And this is another one. When there's a certain extent of energy, and now it is used for 70-80% to cause all the distraction, to warfare, to intoxicate people. And when we become more powerful and take away a good fraction of that, because this being follows us, when it is received with love, when it is just the expression of the own abundance that is always there, that we find inside once again, it aligns with us. And therefore, equilibrium happens in between the forces as well. So the ones who serve love and the divine will take away energy from this overload of energy that is in the hand of those who are solely acting from Satan, from their ego in an unhealed form, because they think, and this is what I always see, most of them, they do something good for humanity, for the greater good of humanity, for the solidarity depending part of human society who's not able to think for themselves due to the programs and the wounds they receive from the ancestry that plays together and makes them small. So when we start to tidy this up within, we start to see the greater setting in the world, then we need to make peace with the spirit and accept it into our lives, so we can act out as the ones who are the creators of the new. This is needed. And it will always be needed as long as we don't proceed to an extent where parity is given, where equilibrium is given. And this is given, a lot more people don't need to fall asleep and wake up once again. Children will come into these communities with all their memory and just continue the dream in a proper way of love. And that's how we transform it. I wish to pass this out today. I hand this out just as information. May it resonate with you or not. From the deep introspection I have done. And I am actually really, really tired of the struggle of producing ever more content, of trying to convince people come looking out for help to do their healing. Guys, this is all up to yourselves. And the time to claim responsibility now as creator beings of the divine is now. And you can feel it. So this is an invitation to enter the bigger picture as a creator. To let go of the stories, to let go of the condemnation that you do, of the diabolization of your brethren in particular. I mean, I was diabolized so much, you cannot imagine. By all of them, beautiful brethren who are still very invested in secret societies, in covenants, in scripture, but are average people like me. Find your wisdom within. Find your wisdom within. It is all there in your ancestry. All the knowledge of past form of spirit in your body and DNA. Your soul is a key. It unlocks that in the regions of your body that are from the root chakra and below. When you have cleared your emotional body and your mental body and your heart, the causal plane. The three of them that are just spiritual, etheric, you have to clear it before. Then you have the experience and the power. When you open up your solar star, which is 1.5 meters above your head, which is the Omega. This is the solar star. And with that, in prayer, you can go into your earth star, which is below your feet. And from there on, transform your deepest horrors. See your ancestors for who they were. See the nobility within there as well. That you certainly will. And don't make the mistake to identify with what you find and claim it now in the external that you deserve the respect or whatever that comes in alignment with that. That is not why we are doing that. Let all of this go. Just be here now as an emanation of source that is equal to everyone else. And when you can hold this energy, you can liberate yourself and unlearn all stories that were told to you how life has to be. And then, when the third step, when you make then peace with money itself, it comes as a clean expression of the abundance that you have found within. Comes to you as a creator being to create the new in co-creation with your brethren, to be entitled to bring your energy, this is the gift, your energy into the world. So we come back to Eden here, we bring it back here through us, without anything of the stories. This is not defined from my liking. Nothing carries a definition yet, because all is a state of flow. And the more crazy we can imagine that as the dreamer, dreaming itself, inviting God, challenging God, to show the most beautiful it can. It is it for me, because it's the Divine Mother and the Divine Father. The both energy streams within the same, and we are the three. This is what being ascended in the means of the tri-wave truly means. We are this neutral point of observation, and we have to always challenge our neutrality. Because just like that, we would allow free will to happen. For everyone who needs the karma to rise the experience of soul, and we will be untouched still by that. But when we take sides, it's not possible any longer. Of course I can dislike things that I see in the world, and I can speak about that, and I do. And still, and I said that to a very powerful sister once, who was very angry, and I understood her anger very well. What do you expect from me? Ma, I asked her. Do you expect from me now that I get myself an assault rifle and assault the people who I think are doing the evil in the world? In dubio pro reo. In the case of doubt, we always have to speak in favor for the one who is accused, because the intrigues are too strong in these times, that this happens all too fast. And although this is a rule that is very important, we also have our intuition and know what's going on. And that is what we need to communicate. Just the truth out there, constantly creating pressure. Building ourselves to revoke the energy from the field that comes to us. It's a lot of different and smaller mechanisms that have to be aligned in these times, so we get there where we want to be, entitled to co-create the new. I wish everyone a beautiful start this week. Send blessings to everyone who wishes to accept, and a beautiful year of the Fire Horse, by the way. A beautiful new year. Still very new with 2 days. I hope you're all good. And you can see the divine humor in everything that plays out. Lots of love to you. In Lakesha Laki. Shalom.